Taylorville Memorial Hospital, and we're hiring experienced nurses to join our great team. Learn more by clicking on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
It's time now for the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Tim Zalabak, your host, and we thank you all for tuning in this morning. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors as well, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. In studio is Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. Mr. Matt Hart, how you been this last month?
Tim, been great. Always great to be with you and your listeners on another beautiful day in Christian County.
Always really great things to talk about with you, Matt Hart, and you're the person to talk to when we're talking economic development, of course, in our great county of Christian County. Recently, you went to a village board meeting in one of the smaller communities.
Sure.
And in the county. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So Monday night had the privilege of going to Edinburgh, which of course is in the county on Route 29 between Taylorville and Springfield. And the reason for that meeting was we have been growing or trying to grow all of the incentives that are available for developers, whether they're existing folks that live here or prospective developers who want to move their business to Christian County, and building our arsenal of economic incentives that we have out there. And three of the biggest economic incentives out there are TIF districts, enterprise zones, and business development districts. And Taylorville has a TIF district, Pana has a TIF district, Assumption has a TIF district, Stonington has a TIF district. We have the enterprise zone tool, which that one is key for saving, particularly on building materials, sales tax on building materials. And it's been used very, very well by developers in Taylorville and at Pana. And we in fact we just went through a major expansion of the enterprise zone, and that was a process that went through all the levels of government, the county board, city of Taylorville, city of Assumption, city of Pana, earlier this year. But we want to continue to keep the pedal to the metal in economic development, and we have additional land available that we can put into our enterprise zone in the county. And so we've recently been expanding to other communities, and we've reached out to Edinburgh and to Stonington. And on Monday evening, I had the privilege of meeting with the Edinburgh Village Board and talk to them a little bit about what the enterprise zone is, and how that can be a tool that can help them with existing business owners and also prospective business owners in Edinburgh. And it's a very easy tool. That's it's not as complicated as a TIF district, but it's something that again these are tools that the state of Illinois has implemented, and they want people building. They want people expanding their business. They want people building new businesses, and this is a way for the state to say, build your business, and we won't even take any sales tax on the building material. And some of these projects, you can be saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales tax alone when you're doing a multi-million-dollar project. And so Edinburgh is already having some success. Obviously, anybody who's driven through there has seen Sloan's and their new 50,000 square foot facility, and we so appreciate the Sloan family and them building that facility. And they did it without any economic incentives. But there are other developers around there who want to continue to build on that success and the campus that Sloan's has. There's also other areas around Edinburgh that are ripe for development. And so one of those tools that we can extend to them is that enterprise zone. So we talked with them, talked to the village board on Monday night, and had a very positive conversation, and they voted to proceed with that. And so we're hoping to expand the enterprise zone to Edinburgh, and we're also going to hopefully expand that enterprise zone up to Stonington as well, and continue to make Christian County a great place to grow and to build your business.
Absolutely. So more enterprise zones is the headline right there. Is that saying good things to the knowledge and then the use of the enterprise zones in Taylorville, in Pana, in Assumption? Just the spread of it is meaning good things in these towns?
Absolutely. And one of the first things developers ask when they're looking at property in your town or in your county is they want to know, is the property in a TIF district? Is the property in an enterprise zone? Many of the applications that we fill out with Intersect Illinois, which is our marketing arm for the state right now to attract businesses, enterprise zone is usually on every single application. They want to know do you have land in the enterprise zone? And the state has expanded the amount of land we can put into the enterprise zone, so we may as well maximize that and add as much land as we possibly can. We can't put the entire county in the enterprise zone, but we've got a limit, and these are parameters that the state of Illinois sets up, but we may as well maximize those parameters and get as much and as many parcels into the enterprise zone as we possibly can.
Sure. And this might be a bad question here. I've never asked before. These enterprise zones, not exclusive to Christian County. These can be found all over Illinois.
There's enterprise zones in every county.
Okay.
It's a tool that's used all across the state.
Yeah.
But they are set up usually, there's got to be a government entity who administers it. For most counties, their economic development corporation is part of that team that manages that. The way that ours is set up in Christian County, the city of Taylorville, along with CCDC, actually administer that. And so the application process actually goes through the mayor's office in Taylorville, whether you're in Taylorville or you're in Payne or in Assumption. But Lisa Sassatelli is very skilled in that. It takes her about 30. If you're interested and you want to fill out the enterprise zone application, it takes about 30 minutes. And then she can give you a certificate that then you can take to your building material supplier, and that will make you exempt from sales tax on that project.
That's awesome. And just knowing that everyone throughout Illinois, they can come into Christian County knowing these types of incentives exist.
Absolutely.
In Christian County, and we're using them well. This is awesome. Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation, in studio. Moving on to some more topics here. Some big movement here in Taylorville. Papa John's opening up very soon, Matt Hart.
Very soon. December 18th, 10 a.m. is the grand opening.
Cool.
Really excited to have Papa John's coming to the area. And not to take away from our existing fantastic restaurants and pizza places that we have here. But I think Papa John's sends several messages. Number one, it sends a message that Taylorville and Christian County is a place where a large national corporation wants to be located, and they want to come. And these large national corporations, these are people who study land, and they study economies all over the country. And they don't just put they don't put their stores just anywhere.
Yeah.
They have done research. They have looked at the vehicle counts. They've looked at the demographics. They've looked at the economy. And when you see companies like Papa John's come to Taylorville, they know that this is a great place to grow and expand a business. They know the future is bright for you. The same thing, across the street, we've got another, national chain going in as well. And, but it is, Papa John's is sending a message, even if you never eat a piece of their pizza, that is still a sign that Taylorville and Christian County is a great place to live and work. And they believe in the future of Christian County, as we do.
What a great indicator it really is. Like you were saying right there, big national change with Starbucks and Papa John's. And like you say, they got resources, they got formulas, I'm sure, that, get it down to the decimal point of will this business be successful? And they're picking Taylorville. I mean, that's huge.
Absolutely. And it is. And we talk to these site selectors. There's site selector companies all over the country, and they've got things that they look for. And again, that's why we're excited. Yes, we're excited. We've got another place that you're going to be able to get lunch or dinner. But more importantly, it's another sign that Taylorville and Christian County is a great place to locate your business, and the future looks positive when you see a corporation like that come in.
Absolutely. Kind of touching back on Edinburgh, we were talking about just earlier, Midwest Meter.
Mm-hmm.
You might have talked a little bit about it previously, but what is Midwest Meter and what's the movement?
Yeah. So again, another hidden gem here in Christian County. Midwest Meters is a locally owned company. Don Luttrell owns that company, and they've been providing meters and pipe and a lot of plumbing for a lot of municipalities. Started locally in central Illinois, and I expanded to the Midwest, and now it's expanded all across the country. Again, you got this little, it's not little anymore. It was a little company. Now they're greatly expanding, but they serve the entire country out of Edinburgh, Illinois. And but they've outgrown the footprint that they have along old Route 29. And so when Sloan's came to town and Sloan's built a new 50,000 foot facility, they talked to the Sloan's folks, and Sloan's decided they didn't need all 30 acres for their campus. So they have negotiated. There's, I think, about 7 acres on the western edge of that property. And you might see you'll see there's a little bit of dirt that's been moved. Folks will see that if they look west of the Sloan's facility. But that's where Midwest Meter has their expansion plan in place. And we expect to see dirt moving in the first quarter of 2025. And again, this is going to be a great expansion for another local business right here in Christian County.
Cool variety of industry we've been talking about in this one with some national chains, Papa John's, Starbucks, and Midwest Meter there is expanding in Edinburgh. Now more back locally here with a business we've been keeping up with, and Heartland Development, partners of it all. They got a few businesses out there. Jack's on Main, how's it going over there?
Yeah, so again, there's a great movement going on Jack's on Main now. They ran into a little bit of an issue, and this just happens when you're working on older buildings, but wasn't necessarily their building, but the building next door presented some structural issues that could become a liability for the Jack's on Main facility. And so there's been a lot of work that's gone on behind the scenes to try to rectify that situation and make sure that the building next door was safe. And ultimately, Heartland Properties figured the best way to make sure that that building next door to Jackson, Maine is safe is to go ahead and buy the building. So that's what they've done. And they've and then they're now planning on having that building be Lincoln Hall, which is part of their but it's allowed them to shore up the structure next door to them, which then allows them to continue with progress on the existing structure. And I was just by there this morning, and they're out working on the building today. And so yeah, we're really excited about Jackson, Maine, and now that they've got the issue with the building next door shored up, hopefully that will get them back on track and on progress to add yet another fantastic business on the Taylorville Square.
Absolutely, really looking forward to that one. And Lincoln Hall, what is that supposed to be? Yeah,
so Lincoln Hall is going to be a music venue.
Cool.
That is part of their plan, and in the Heartland Properties has got several parcels and several as their whole package. But this was part of their what they felt would be part of the package to provide a venue for musicians, artists to perform and have people come in. And initially, that plan was to do that about a half a block away down in the old Harrison's Automotive Building. And so they've kind of pivoted on that, and now Lincoln Hall is going to be right next to Jackson, Maine, which, by the way, has freed up another building. So if any developers want to be in that old Harrison's Automotive Building, recently Furlow was in there before they moved to their new facility on the square. But again, that freed up one new property for us to bring in another business to Taylorville and Christian County.
Great. And when we're seeing construction like Jackson, Maine, should we be thinking enterprise zone? Are they using the big three?
Absolutely.
Like
that's in an enterprise zone. That's also the business development district. And that's what helps bring developers here and gives them extra incentive to build. And of course, why would you want to pay more why would you want to pay extra sales tax on your building material when the state's saying we don't want your sales tax money?
Right.
Just go through the enterprise zone process, and because we want businesses to invest and develop here in Illinois.
Absolutely. And it's happening. We're seeing the movement. We're seeing the development out in the community right now. Speaking is Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. Got to take ourselves a break right now. We've been listening to the WTIM Morning Show. Thanks so much to the live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. Be right back on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Handoff, Peterson breaking to the clear. Far side, Peterson, 40, 35, Peterson, good night.
Tune in all season long for the NFL's biggest games and most exciting players. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
WTIM on its many on-air platforms. The Big 870 across central Illinois, 96.1 FM in Christian County, 107.5 FM in Shelbyville, and 107.9 FM in the Pana-Nokomis area brings you NFL Sunday afternoon doubleheaders, Monday night and Thursday night football, along with the divisional championships and the Super Bowl. All brought to you by
First National Bank, McClure-Halberg Insurance, Blakely Heating, Cooling and Plumbing, Taylorville Community Eye Care, Advanced Title Group, and Christian County YMCA.
A 10 hut.
What's with your father?
I finally got him to look at John Deere Operations Center.
You, call in air support and pass the word. We're mobilizing.
What's he saying?
We finished the north field, and the trucks are moving east.
Crop duster, over. Harvest Hawk says redeploy. Redeploy.
Take command of your farm data. Check out Operations Center at johndeere.com.
Dad!
Hit it, son. Recon East Ridge. Go, go, go.
Operations Center, only from John Deere.
The Miller Media Group invites you to help those less fortunate during our 32nd annual Food for Families Drive. In Taylorville, bring your non-perishable food items to benefit the Taylorville Food Pantry at 1429 East Main Cross, Tuesdays from 8:30 a.m. till 10 a.m., Thursdays from 5:30 till 7 p.m., and Saturdays from 8:30 till 9:30 a.m. In Pana, put your perishable food items in the donation barrels at the county market or at the food pantry office at 200 West 2nd Street. On Mondays from 9 a.m. till noon. On Fridays from 3 till 5:30 p.m. And in Shelbyville, take your non-perishable food items to the First United Methodist Church, 205 West Main, Tuesday and Wednesdays from 9 a.m. till noon only. The Miller Media Group hopes you'll think of those less fortunate this holiday season in giving to these local food pantries during our 32nd annual Food for Families Drive. Thank you for caring and sharing this holiday season.
Fall means attending your favorite festivals and bonfires. Taylorville Care Center can help get you back to doing what you want, like attending a local fall festival. Find out more by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Brandy Bruley here, Superintendent of Taylorville Schools. We promote student success because Taylorville schools are A+. Find out everything we can offer your students by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into WTIM, your information station, in the midst of our morning show with Matt Hart, the Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. That first half, we talked about Matt attending the Village Board meeting over in Edinburgh, Papa John's, Starbucks coming soon here in Taylorville. A little bit of Jackson, Maine information there. Let's talk GSI, Ag Co. There's a couple of different names to be thrown around here, but there's one that it is right now, Matt Hart.
Right.
Just break this down for us.
Yeah, so one of our major employers in Christian County is what a lot of people in Christian County is still called GSI.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people grew up just GSI, and it's the grain bin manufacturing company is what a lot of people think. But this is a company based originally based in Assumption, Illinois. The company actually goes all the way back to 1972, and Greg Sloan started this company, and it's a company that's just has grown over the decades. And their bread and butter was and still is building grain bins, grain storage systems for particularly for local farmers. And if you can travel all across the country, and you'll see GSI grain bins just everywhere you go. But about 10 years or so ago, the Sloan family sold GSI to AGCO, and AGCO is a large international company that has owned GSI. They've still kept the GSI brand, but it's just been under this umbrella of AGCO, and some folks may know AGCO for their implement dealerships that they have as well. But it was a piece of AGCO, and about a year ago, AGCO announced they were going to divest what they call the grain and protein division, or what we locally call GSI. And so they found a buyer for that, and they've closed on that. And so as of November 1st, again, what we all know as GSI, that is now owned by American Industrial Partners. And American Industrial Partners is a private equity firm, but they saw the value in what the grain and protein division is doing and GSI, and so they purchased that. So you'll probably see them a little bit more, American Industrial Partners. They've also rebranded with a new name called Grain and Protein Technologies. They've got a new website called grainandprotein.com. And again, if you want to learn more, I encourage everybody to go out to that website. Just very simple, grainandprotein.com.
Easy.
But that's where you're going to find GSI now, or what a lot of people still think was GSI. But what a lot of people don't know in this community is that GSI generates about $970 million a year in revenue. Now, that's not just Assumption in Taylorville. They've got a lot of facilities throughout the Midwest, big facility in Paris, Illinois. But it's great when you have these companies that are located here in Christian County, and they're based here in Christian County. They're pretty much their headquarters still, in Assumption, is where the leadership team for that is. And so there's been an ownership change, but they're still making grain bins. They're still making feeder systems for livestock here in Taylorville, and they're making grain bins in Assumption. But we're thankful to have them, and as part of our community. Brian Atwood with GSI is actually on our board at the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. But a lot of people get up every day and just go to work and don't even know the impact that Christian County has, not only in the state or in the Midwest, but really across the country and across the world, with companies that are located here like GSI. So we're excited to have them. They're a major employer. They're one of our top employers in the county. And even though their ownership has changed, they're still here. They're still producing grain bins. They're still producing feeder systems, just with a different name. So you'll see Grain and Protein Technologies a little bit more, but you'll still see the GSI brand as well.
Perfect. That major employer that we are really lucky to have in the county here. And should we expect this kind of transition has been made once before? Should workers over there expect any changes? Can you speak to that? You can speak to?
Yeah, we don't expect any changes, just because they're making products that people are using right here.
Of course,
these are not these are not products that are easily made, overseas and then shipped here. But their customer base is here. And I think as long as the customer base for Grain and Protein Technologies or GSI, as long as their customer base is here, they're going to be here. We know we're certainly, working closely with them to make sure they have everything they need to continue to operate successfully here, operate profitably here, but more importantly, employ people right here in Christian County. And that's part of our mission at Christian County Economic Development Corporation. It's taking care of the businesses that we have, making sure they have everything they need to employ people locally. And then after that, then we also reach out to those companies that are not here yet. But GSI is a big company that is here. We're certainly glad they're here. They provide a lot of the livelihood for a lot of families throughout, especially in Christian County, but really throughout Central Illinois as well.
Absolutely. Matt Hart, I was going to ask for some final wrap-up words as this back half has flown by on us right there, but you hit all the points really well right there. Can you point us to a website we can go to for more information?
Yeah, absolutely. So ChristianCountyEDC.com. Go there. All of our information's on there. If you need to get a hold of us, call us anytime at 565-2280. We're here to help grow businesses and keep those businesses growing.
Perfect. Thanks, Matt, for coming in today.
My pleasure.
That's Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation, right here on the WTIM Morning Show.
Next month. He said he plans to step down in order to avoid political distractions. Trump recently named Kash Patel as his choice to lead the FBI. An American who says he crossed into Syria